But does the content of these emails change the science of climate change?
I don't think it does. I mean, the sceptics are claiming that, but the sceptics are mainly focusing on this very ambiguous statement that I can't remember. It's something like I have done the trick to hide the decline, and it's talking about a manipulation of data. So that looks really damning, but what people haven't really, I think quite deliberately, haven't really explained when they've used this as a weapon to attack climate science, is that what they're talking about there is tree ring data. It's one of these really arcane data sets that way back before we had thermometers, as a way of reconstructing past temperature, you can use things like tree rings. I don't fully understand the science, but presumably, trees grow faster in warmer weather, or so the tree rings are, I don't really know. But anyway, they do it, and it's been quite useful, it's been quite sort of controversial, but it's been relatively accepted as a science. But then in the last 100 years or so, we've had thermometers, so we know what the temperature is. We don't need to use tree rings. But what they kind of done is they've taken the tree ring data and they've extended it through the 20th century while we've had thermometers, and they've shown that actually it's a pretty good match until you get to about 1960, when something very strange happens. And they don't know why this is, but for some reason the tree ring data, while it should be showing an increase in temperature, is actually showing a decrease in temperature.
Imagine that we live in an age of reason, and the global warming alarm is dressed up as science, but it's not science, it's propaganda.
There's no direct evidence which links 20th century global warming to anthropogenic greenhouse gases.
We're just being told lies. That's what it comes down to.
You can't say that CO2 will drive climate. It certainly never did in the past.
If the CO2 increases in the atmosphere as a greenhouse gas, then the temperature will go up. But the ice core record shows exactly the opposite.
If these scientists have done something wrong, it will be found out and their peers will determine it. I don't think geologists should write papers about being an actor or a newscaster, nor should, don't get your information from me, folks, or any newscaster. Get it from people with PhD after the name, peer-reviewed studies are keywords, and if it comes out in peer-reviewed studies that there are some cooking in the books, that will come out.
Well, Senator Inhofe has a list of 700 climate scientists who say this global warming, they've got problems with the whole theory of global warming. I put it to you.
There's not 700 climate scientists. There's weathermen and other people in there. There are some climate scientists.
The science is not in.
It is in.
No.
Stuart, quit saying that.
No, the debate is not over, sir.
Peer-reviewed studies. Go to Science Magazine, folks, Nature Magazine. Go to somebody you trust, National Geographic. Don't get it from you or me. Don't get it from Rush Limbaugh, Glenn Beck. Scientists, people with PhD. Weathermen, not weathermen.
Okay, listen
science,
to
climate.
Listen to this. I had a Princeton professor on my program.
What does he have his degree in?
Look, he's a physicist.
Okay,
he's a Princeton professor.
I want people who are PhDs in climate science.
Who's questioned
a climate scientist isn't going to tell you the difference between a quark and a boson. He's not going to tell you.
So there's no question whatsoever. Absolutely no question in your mind.
You can be skeptical.
The debate is
skeptical, but not denial. You guys
are over. The debate is over.
On global warming, the debate is very clear. It's out there in the scientific community. Read peer-reviewed studies. Peer-reviewed. That's all you need to do. Don't get it from you or me.
You live the green life on a day-to-day basis, individually and personally. Fine. I got no problem with that. But why do you have to impose it on me?
Impose? Why do you have to impose 30 year on me in Los Angeles?
Explain what I'm talking about. If cap and trade goes through, I'm going to have a warning label on my house. There's going to be an
There
is an energy audit going on my house. Yes, sir.
You should have an energy audit in your home to make it more efficient.
Thanks for admitting it. Okay.
I just had an energy audit in my home and I reduced my bills by half.
I am not allowed to buy incandescent light bulbs.
When are you not allowed to buy them? What year are you not allowed to buy them?
A couple of years in the future.
What year in the future?
Well, does it matter? The government's telling me I may not have incandescent
It's telling us we can't have smoggy vehicles, too. The air in L.A. is
You've got to come right into my house. Ed Begley, I'm surprised at you. What kind of American believes that the government should come right into a private house?
Nobody's going to come in your house.
You can't have this kind of light bulb. Or
Why
in
would you have
California,
you ever
you
seen
can't
an
have a big
easy
screen
what is an
TV?
easy bake oven? The little kids' toy, an easy bake
Why
oven.
do you want to
Why
push
does
it
a
around?
light bulb is a little mini toaster?
Why do you want
Because
to
it's the
push
best
me around?
technology?
Because you are
Nobody's pushing
convinced
you
we're
around.
going to hell in a house.
You're spewing your nonsense here yet again.
Nonsense.
The air in L.A. is twice as clean as it was in 1970. Why? Because of good technology.
It's got nothing to do with global
It has
warming.
everything to do with good science.
Nothing to do with global warming.
It has everything to do with finance and cleaning up the air. You people said it wouldn't work. We have cleaner air in L.A. because of the catalytic converter.
Nothing to do with global
I know
warming.
it doesn't, but you said this before. You said it about seatbelts and airbags.
So
you couldn't possibly afford this.
why
You
do-
spew
Yeah,
these
I-
lies.
that's not my argument.
You spew these lies about how much it's going to cost. Do you have an insurance policy in your house?
Lies?
Do you have a fire policy in your house? Do you have one?
And you actually say stuff and nonsense.
Absolutely, I can prove it to you. Criminal, I should have had my other t-shirt on this point with a picture of Marilyn Monroe on it with her skirt being broke. Now I'm 76 and when I see that picture, my temperature goes up, followed by the CO2 I breathe out.
We really do have global warming. The polar bears are getting in trouble and the glaciers are melting. We really do have global warming. The polar bears are getting in trouble and the glaciers are melting.
There is an anti-change group, there's an anti-reform group, there's an anti-science group, there's a flat earth group, if I may say so, over the evidence that exists about climate change, and we've got to show them that the scientific evidence is strong.
Mr. President, I've just heard a socialist colleague over there talking about Greenland and, you know, the ice melting in Greenland. Well, you know, the question I'd like to ask on this subject is, why is Greenland called Greenland?
You tell me, is this a viable solution, geothermal?
It's a relatively new one. People think about geothermal energy when they think about it at all in terms of the hot water bubbling up in some places, but 2 kilometers or so down, in most places there are these incredibly hot rocks, because the interior of the Earth is extremely hot, several million degrees, and the crust of the Earth is hot.